everybody, welcome back to another session of the Hopry. My name is Mark Starr.
And I'm Tim Pratt.
Mr. Tim Pratt, Mr. knocked down a whole Dogfish Head fort in one sitting all by himself. This is the guy I was telling you about.
Yes,
Yeah.
And it will make you high-five homeless people.
Yeah, it's a big beer. But anyway, no, we are not progressively more drunk. We've just got done doing the Saint Somewhere. What is it? The Saint Athene?
Athene,
yeah.
Yes.
The Great Saison from Florida, and I really like that beer a lot. But this next one, I'm pretty excited to try as well. And I know you've had this one before at some point in your life, and I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I happened to find one where the label is upside down. I kind of have this thing for label mishaps, and you get them all the time from brewers like Founders and whatnot. But there was, I think, 3 or 4 of these sitting on the shelves, and I had to get the one that was upside down. But,
why not?
But this one comes from Brasserie Dupont. It is their Avec Le Bon Voeux. It's kind of, I guess, their most celebrated saison. We've got the regular Saison Dupont, which I reviewed way back. I don't remember what session it was. If you click on the sessions tab on my site, you will see that. But really interested to try this one. I have not had it, so it'll be a first for me.
I actually had it on tap at a special beer tapping that night, and quite curious to see how it's going to be out of a bottle.
Let's find out. Yeah, let's smell it. What do you think?
From when you first cracked it, about what was it, 5 minutes ago? Yeah. Initially, it was green bottle skunk all the way.
Yeah.
But I'll say that overriding kind of skunk nasty bit part has actually subsided a little bit, and it seems to be a little bit more bready.
Yeah. Now, do you think that the CO2 that kind of builds up in these bottles because of the re-fermentation, do you think that might kind of add to some of the, I guess, the initial funk that, once that releases, then you're kind of left with what really is in the beer, as opposed to it just being funky or skunky even because of being left out in the light or too warm or whatever?
I think, at least in the case of this, especially with Saison yeasts, they tend to ferment at higher temperatures. That their optimum temperature is around 80 plus degrees, and Saison Dupont actually uses a strain of Saison yeast that gets its optimum temperature at somewhere 85, 90 degrees. So it's fermenting at very high temperatures.
Yeah.
And when you ferment that high, you're going to get some odd smells, odd aromas coming off of a beer. And just from my homebrewing knowledge, Saisons are honestly one of the nastiest smelling fermentating. See, I'm making up words now.
I've used that before, actually. Fermentating, yeah.
Perfect.
But see, on this show, you can spit things out of your mouth. You can say whatever you want. I mean, that's, we're just a couple of guys drinking beer. If you want something that's more serious, man, go watch Fox Network or, well, that's not even serious, but you get what I'm saying. But anyway, proceed.
Proceed I will. So a Saison yeast just naturally smells quite a bit nasty when it's fermenting. It's got some really heavy sulfur flavors that are going to come off. It almost tends to put off some of the same aromas that a lager fermenting will. It's just not always pretty, and I guess it kind of carries through to say when you first smell it and take a taste, it probably doesn't taste anything like it smells, did it?
That's pretty textbook to me, actually.
Yeah.
But you're right. The smell has really kind of died out. The skunkiness has been replaced with just a little bit of funkiness. So you've gone from skunkiness to funkiness in a matter of 5 minutes. So if you buy this beer, and you pop it open and it's real skunky, don't be alarmed.
Don't at all.
Give it a few minutes to kind of come out of its shell. I mean, if we were all cooped up in a bottle for 5 years, 2 years, however long, God knows what we would smell like. So.
But the one thing that I noticed, especially when we look at the previous episode, the Saint Somewhere, the immediate thing that I noticed on this one is a lack of spice or a lack of black pepper, and that's not in a bad way. It's a much I guess more subdued overall final beer,
Yeah.
but that, it definitely delivers in its complexity because, when you take a drink of it, you're definitely getting some, some tart lemon peel. It's
Yeah.
very dry.
Yeah.
You're still getting some of that, just kind of Brett funkiness again that I don't,
And I think it's that phenolic quality that
Yeah.
you always hear people talk about. And I think the main difference for me in this beer and the one that we had before, which, I got to tell you, after shutting off the camera and kind of working our way through that last beer, I got to tell you, that was a really nice beer for me. The difference in that one, though, and this one is that the Athene seems like the type of beer where they're trying to be a little bit more adventurous with the style. This one, on the other hand, is very textbook to me. I mean, when I think about some of the other great saisons I've had, well, even like their saison Dupont, and a few others. It's almost like this is the most textbook of those that I've had. But
it's definitely a solid beer. It finishes clean, which with some saisons you just don't get that. You might get a little bit of a little bit too funky or a little bit too barnyard, a little bit too much hay. But this one, it really just carries through nice. It finishes nice, solid.
Yeah, really liking this one. You talk about balance in a beer as well. Is the balance striking you as pretty nice?
It's balanced about as well as I would want a saison.
Yeah.
I mean, with some of the other saisons you can get, they're almost a little bit too funky, or there's they've tried to play up the the originality or the spice or what you can do with a saison rather than just kind of focusing on the true beer that is a saison, because looking back in history, a saison is just a beer that was produced in
very blue collar
farmhouses in Wallonia
Yeah.
throughout history, that each different farmhouse is going to have a different version of their own
Yeah.
saison. They use their own yeast, their own ingredients, their own lineup. But to really get back to what the roots of what we would classically call a saison, it really pulls it off, and pulls it off very well.
I think, how does this compare to the one before? I mean, I think it's as good. It's just, I think very different to me.
It's very different.
But at the same time, just very traditional. I always talk about the black suit with the white shirt and the black tie. It's just something that will taste good. 100 years from now, they brew these to be, timeless classic, and that's exactly what this one is. But you just got to get through that little funky skunk right at the beginning.
Don't let the green bottle scare you.
Yeah. So, well, guys, I hope you are enjoying Saison Week. And I hope you'll come back on Friday. We'll be doing one that I've, been, really looking forward to trying the most, the Fantôme Saison. I saw those pop up in the liquor store the other day and immediately grabbed one. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do a Saison Week. But, well, anyway, it's good to come over. And by the way, really like your table. If you've been watching my sessions at home lately, you'll know that we both have the same exact table. I actually ripped them off and went out and bought their table. But
And when he says ripped us off, he literally carried it out of here on his back. It was quite amazing.
Right. And I actually just brought it back for
He
this
did.
session.
He did.
So.
He did. And he wasn't even using the forearm forklift. It was quite impressive.
I'm a badass. People know that.
Words.
So don't mess with me. But, well, guys, thanks a lot for coming back. My name is Mark Starr.
I'm Tim Pratt.
And we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Seriously.
Skunk taint!
Skunking! Seriously, I will kick some ass. That's how badass I will lift this table and skunk it. Funk it.
Grr.
Yeah.